All right, good afternoon, everyone. I am Misty. This is Dinner on a Dime. And today we are going to talk about sometimes things are hard. Not everyone is good at everything right away, right? And so, what are some of the excuses that we feed into or we believe about ourselves and about the things we're trying to accomplish? And how can we just take the guesswork out of meal planning for your family? Okay, so this is going to go over 10, I believe. Let me see how many I got. 10 top 10 excuses that I hear about why people aren't meal planning. Now, I've heard these in person from karate moms, I've heard them from friends, I've heard them from family. And I promise that you can conquer all of these. And these tips are going to focus on those 10 excuses. So it's kind of like I'm going to give you an excuse and then we're going to conquer that excuse and then we'll go on to the next one. Okay. So the number one top excuse that people love to give for why they don't meal plan is what do you think it is? If you guessed I don't have time, you would be right. I don't have time to meal plan. I don't have time to sit down for an hour on Sunday nights because I've got to get kids ready for school for the next week. I got to get laundry done. I got to get lunches packed, all the things. Okay, you don't need hours of time to meal plan. You don't need special color-coded books or software or anything else. It can be as simple as just a pen and a piece of paper. It can be, if you have like a dry erase calendar, it can be a dry erase calendar. It can be just on a calendar. Print out a weekly calendar, okay, and have your pen handy. It really only takes about 15 to 20 minutes to meal plan for the next week, okay? Especially if you will do some prep work ahead, like making out a list of meals that your family really likes to eat, making out a list of what ingredients you have on hand. It will only take you 15 to 20 minutes to meal plan. And the more you keep up with those things over time, the faster and faster you will get in this process, right? It actually saves you hours of time. It doesn't take you hours of time. And the more comfortable you get with it, the quicker you're going to get at it, and then you're going to save even more time. So instead of spending an hour each night figuring out, okay, what am I going to make for dinner? I didn't lay anything down. I don't know what the plan is. I don't know what I have on hand. Yada, yada, yada. And then you're making meals that you're not really satisfied with. That 15 to 20 minutes on a Sunday night, on a Saturday afternoon, Monday morning, whenever you have time in your week to fit it in. Okay, so set a 10-minute timer and just get started. Okay, even if you don't finish in the 10 minutes, it's gotten you further into your week than you would have been if you had not done it at all. Okay, I actually have a timer that I use for tasks that I'm procrastinating on. And so I will set that timer and I will force myself while that timer is going to work on the task that it is that I've not wanted to do. Okay, multitask while you're practicing. Okay, what do I mean? While you're getting good at this, multitask. If you really don't have time to sit down and dedicate only to this, do it while you're watching Sunday Night Football. Well, do it while you're watching a TV show on a Saturday afternoon. Do it while your kids are at t-ball practice. Okay? Do it while you're sipping your morning coffee out on the patio. Wherever and whenever you can find just that little bit of time to dedicate to it, even if you can't fully dedicate to it. So say I'm super into the football game, because I can be, then maybe just during the commercial breaks, I would work on my meal plan. Okay, number 2 excuse in the book, I won't stick to it. I know me. Sure, I'll sit down and do it for a week because you're making me do it, but next week I'm just going to go back to not doing it. I'm not going to stick to it, so why even bother getting started? Okay? If you will schedule it, it will help you, because a lot of times it's not so much that you don't want to stick to a plan, it's that your mood will throw you off throughout the week. Okay, so what do I mean by that? If you're a woman like me in your 40s and you're going through perimenopause, my weekly moods can sometimes be fun And so if I've already scheduled out my meals, it's one less thing I have to worry about. It's one less thing I have to stress about. And therefore my moods don't affect that task any longer. Okay? So if you'll get on it and you'll stick with it, you'll see that it actually helps your mood throughout the week, because it's just one less thing you have to give any thought or effort to. Okay, it becomes that routine, it becomes normalized for you, and then you don't have to worry about it. Now, maybe a reason you're not sticking to it is because you're thinking of it like a contract. Okay, I've sat down, I've wrote out this meal plan, now I 100% have to stick to it to the T. It's not a contract, okay? It's just a plan. Think of it more as a flexible guide than a meal plan, okay? So it's just there to guide you throughout the week. You can always swap days. You can skip days as needed. So say that you have on your chart that like Tuesday night, I'm going to make roast. And then something happens and Tuesday you end up staying at work late. The whole plan seems blown out of the water. Okay, can I put the roast in the Instapot? Maybe I didn't even remember to set it out, okay? Hi, helicopters flying over my house. Or maybe what you could do is utilize your leftovers you had the night before, or make something that's quick and in your back pocket, like a grilled cheese. It's a really loud helicopter. And then the next day, just get back on schedule with the next meal. If your roast wasn't already thawed out, if it was already thawed out, can you throw it in the slow cooker for the next day and kind of get back on track? Maybe skip the meal for the next day. But think of it as a flexible guide sheet, okay? You don't have to stick to it like it's a legally binding contract. All right, post it in a visible spot. If you will post it somewhere where you're seeing it frequently, you're more likely to stick to it. I actually post mine in multiple spots. I have a reminder in my phone that will come up each day reminding me what I need to set out for the next day. It pops up in the evening. I have it on my calendar in my kitchen. I have it on the door to the refrigerator in my kitchen. And I have it in my meal planning book that is in my office space. So at home, office space at home. So there's lots of different areas where I can readily see it. And then use a flexible template and learn to customize it. So the more you make it your own, the more you take ownership of it and you work through what you do and don't like about it, the more likely you will be to stick to it. So hopefully those tips right there will help you to stick to doing your meal plan. Okay, number 3, I don't know what to make. Okay, I get this. This one can be hard, especially when you're starting this process out. So remember that decision fatigue is real and it can feel very, very overwhelming to people. Okay, so let's kind of try to take some of the guesswork out of it. What I would start with is a meals list. These are the top 10 meals my family likes to eat. These are the top 20 meals that my family likes to eat. However many you can come up with, okay? I would look at what I like, look at what I would ask my husband, add in his meal suggestions, ask the kids, add in their meal suggestions. That would be like my go-to list, okay? Then I usually keep what I call the meal parking lot. So these are ideas for meals that I want to try, or they're meals that I haven't made in a while. And so that's what I will work from. Okay, I'm going to select maybe 5 nights a week based off of the standard, these are the meals we like best, which we're going to go into how many nights a week you should meal plan for. I'm not saying to plan all 7, but let's say maybe I plan 4 around what I, normally make, 2 around my parking lot, and then 1 around just fully leftovers. So you can kind of look at it that way. It kind of helps remove that decision fatigue that can really bring you down in the process. The next is have a themes list available to simplify your planning. So maybe you don't want to do meals, okay? You don't want to make a meal list, but you can make a themed list. Like, okay, we're going to have an Italian night. We're going to have a Mexican night. We're going to have a pizza night. We're always going to have Taco Tuesday. A lot of people will do like Pizza Friday. So think about your theme nights. Maybe you can come up with 1 or 2 theme nights that you can always work with on the same days of the week. And that again will help reduce down the number of decisions that you have to make. Use an app and let it decide for you. Plug in the ingredients you have, ask the app to give you a meal plan based on what you have on hand, and boom, you don't even have to think about it. You can kind of look over the choices it gave you. If there's a choice you don't like say something's really heavy in onion, that wouldn't be my favorite thing, I would ask it to replace that meal. And then there you go. I have my choices. I don't even have to think about it. And again, ask your household to contribute ideas, okay? Sorry, I'm going to get a sip of my 50-cent half price in the afternoon Chicken Express drink here. All right. Ask your family to contribute ideas. So you're doing that up front for your family favorites list, but we're all kind of in this interconnected social world now, right? So my husband only really watches YouTube for like car stuff, okay? So he's not going to see a lot of ideas that way. But my kids kind of see a little bit of everything. So they are a great source to go to and say, hey, have you seen any cool meal ideas lately? When I'm doing doom scrolling, not really doom scrolling, not all bad stuff, but when I get through and I'm going through short videos, I save recipes that interest me. So, but I'm terrible about then adding them to the parking lot or getting that added to the meal plan. So occasionally, like once every 3 months, I will kind of sit down, scroll back through my saved history on Facebook or YouTube or wherever, and add those ideas to the parking lot. It gives me more ideas to work with. You could start a Pinterest board, right? That used to be a big thing, starting a Pinterest board for recipes. So you could go back to doing something like that. All right, so that'll help you to know what meals you want to make. So number 4, my life is just too busy and the plans are constantly going out the window. Boy, do I understand this one, because I meal plan pretty far out in advance, and it feels sometimes like things are just constantly coming up, whether it's a job change, whether it's kids karate tournament gets changed, whether it's, oh, we're not going to have drum lessons or we are going to have drum lessons. Oh, now we've got Hatchie football games. It feels like things are always just kind of a little rocky, a little up in the air. So just remember, life's going to throw you little surprises. You're going to have curveballs along the way, but don't let it make something feel impossible for you. Okay, so kind of like we talked about earlier, where you know you won't stick to it, it's flexible, okay? It's a plan, but it's flexible. So if things don't work out, you just adjust your plan and you keep moving forward. So a good thing to do is plan at least one lazy night per week. This can be leftover night if you want it to be, or it can just be a lazy night where you say, okay, I'm not planning anything for this night because I know we're going to be super busy. When we get in, we will see, what do people feel like? Do we want leftovers? Do we want a quick meal option like bacon sandwiches with lettuce and tomato? Do we want grilled cheeses and soup? What is it that we feel like that we can throw together relatively quickly? Or have some backup meal plans available for when life is just stacked against you, okay? What's a backup meal plan? Have a list of some meals that are your quick cook options that you keep everything on hand. I'm talking low ingredients, very quick to throw together. Like I always have pasta and I always have spaghetti sauce. So if nothing else, I can make a meatless pasta and we could just eat it. It takes about 12 minutes to boil the noodles. I can have the sauce heating the whole time. I can throw it together, let it sit for an additional 5 minutes or so for the noodles to soak up the sauce, and we would be good to go. Now, some ways to prevent this is to batch cook ahead. So you don't want to do this on a busy day of the week. You want to look at your schedule and you want to say, okay, what day am I going to be least busy this week? Okay, Sunday, I've got from 2 o'clock in the afternoon to 10 o'clock Sunday night. We don't have any plans. I'm going to do some batch cooking right there, okay? So I'm going to brown hamburger meat for the week. I'm going to prep chicken where I've already cut all the pieces off that I don't like. I'm going to chop all of my vegetables. I'm going to do as many things ahead on that one night of the week to make the rest of my week easier. And it'll help because Maybe it's just that you don't want to spend 30 minutes chopping everything once you get home. Well, if it's already all chopped for you, you've taken all that prep work off of that meal. Now instead of taking like 45 minutes for the meal, maybe now it only takes 25 minutes for the meal, right? And so it's cut down, it's making it a little bit better for you. And remind yourself of the payoff here, okay? We're saving time, we're saving money by getting a little bit ahead at the beginning of the week or the end of the week, kind of what day you have it planned on, right? And it will help you moving forward. And it'll help you to stay motivated with it moving forward. Okay, number 5, I hate being tied down to eating the same thing every week. Okay, a meal plan doesn't have to be the same thing every week. If you just make 1 week's meal plan and you repeat it every single week, you're going to get really bored and really tired really fast. My family could probably easily eat the same 7 meals over and over and over again, and it would not bother them. It would bother me. I have to have some variety. I can't just keep doing the same thing over and over again. Remember, meal planning doesn't have to be boring. It doesn't have to be repetitive. Again, if we've got that list of like 20 go-to meals, plus we have our list of our quick meals now because we added that step in, plus we've got that list of, hey, here's my parking lot ideas. You've got plenty to work with to keep it fresh, to keep it tasty, to keep it interesting. Okay, you got plenty there to work with. And remember, you don't have to plan every single bite in advance. Okay, we're just planning meals. We're not planning every little thing in advance. So maybe even if this would work for you, just plan what meat you're going to work with every day. Don't even think about what you're going to make out of it. If you can't get that far into the process, that's okay. But maybe Monday's always going to be chicken. Tuesday's always going to be ground beef. Wednesday's already going to be pork day. Think of it that way, where you always lay down that meat for the day and then you work with that meat once a week or twice a week, whatever the case would be. Okay, ditch your format, get creative. Okay, plan, don't schedule. So you can also just plan. You can say, okay, these are the 5 meals I'm going to make for this week. I'm not putting them on a schedule. I'm not putting them on Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Sunday. Okay, I'm not doing that. Instead, I'm going to say, okay, these are the 5 meals I'm going to make this week. I'm going to have 2 leftover nights. So the meals for the week are going to be lasagna, tacos, chicken enchiladas, beef ramen, and chicken strips, right? So then I can just look at it each night and I can say, okay, what is it I want to make tomorrow? Okay, I want to make the beef ramen tomorrow. Here's what I'm going to lay down for beef ramen. Okay, try a new recipe once a week. So keep in that flexibility that you're looking for because you're getting bored with what it is you're cooking. Keep in that 1 day per week that you can do something totally crazy that you've never cooked before in your kitchen. So like for me, I've got this recipe for Mongolian meatballs hanging out. So that is probably what I would pick first, is I would work that in for my flexibility day for the week. Would be, we're going to have Mongolian meatballs. And then create your menus, not your agendas. Okay, an agenda is for a meeting, right? A menu is for a meal. So plan your menus. Sometimes this really helps people to completely plan out the menu. Like maybe it's Italian night, and so you're going to plan out Caesar salad. Here's everything I need for it. I'm going to make garlic bread. Here's everything I need for it. I'm going to make this pasta, chicken pesto pasta. Okay, here's everything I need for it. So some people like to really menu plan, and it's up to you how far you want to take it. Okay, how far do you want to take it, and what are your options so that you don't get bored with it? Okay, and maybe you want to try some different things each week. Maybe that would help too, is randomize it where like this week I'm only going to work with the meats each night. This week I'm going to work with full menu planning. This week I'm going to work with theme nights. You can vary it up so that it will be more interesting for you. All right, number 6, I waste more food when I plan. Really? I don't think you do. I think you think that in your head, but I don't think you actually waste more when you plan. I think you waste more when you don't plan and you just fly by the seat of your pants. So remember that without a plan, food will spoil more. So if you go AWOL on planning and you say, okay, I'm not planning for this week, and you don't know what you need to use up first, you're more likely to have things go bad. You're also not going to know when you need to freeze something or when you need to base a meal around it. Okay, so you're going to lose all visibility of your waste, and if you're not planning for it, right? The only way I could say you could do that is to utilize fully shelf-stable items, but that's going to get boring real fast as well. So what do? We meal plan. We increase our flexibility options. So again, we're making it exciting. We're making it fresh. We are making sure we're utilizing items up front so that they don't go bad. We look at our past experiences with food waste and we make changes accordingly. So we're going to look at, man, I buy bananas every week and by the end of the week, the bananas are going bad. Okay, maybe the family's just tired of eating bananas. So I understand bananas are a cheap and economical fruit, but what are some other options we could look at? Okay. Or maybe it's that we're not really pushing those bananas. Could we be slicing them up and serving them in oatmeal for breakfast instead of just having them out on the counter? Right? We need to look at the past experience we've had with what we've thrown away and how we can prevent it moving forward. And then any ingredients that you're worried about getting to in time, label and freeze those ingredients for future needs. Okay. So if you meal plan and the plan doesn't work out, that's okay. Be flexible. So how are we being flexible? We're looking at what we had laid down. Like if I've already laid my ground beef down, it's already thawed out, I will go ahead and brown it up and then I will refreeze it as brown hamburger meat. Okay. For another night's meal. Or I will brown it up and I will add it to spaghetti sauce. So now I've already got spaghetti sauce ready. Or I'll add in sloppy Joe sauce. I've already got sloppy Joe mix ready. I'll add in taco seasoning. Now I've already got taco meat ready. And then I just freeze it and use it for the future. So just because you have a meal plan doesn't mean that if you don't make that thing, it has to go to the trash. If you don't make that thing, then let's just use it and freeze it for the future. All right, number 7, I'm not good at organizing meals. Okay, you don't have to be a chef. You don't have to be an influencer. You don't have to be a Pinterest mom in order to cook. Okay, organization to me is more important in the kitchen than in the plan. Okay, organizing your kitchen so that your space works for you is what's going to be important and keep you on track. You can keep your planning within your skill level. So if you're a beginner and all you want to do is slap up a piece of paper on the fridge with 5 meals on it and you want to try to stick to those 5 meals, it's all you need to do. If you've been doing this for a while and you like to color code every day and you like to have different sections for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and you like to have like carb, protein, veggie for each meal, cool. You get as into the weeds with it as you want to, but keep it in your comfort level, in your skill level, okay? Do what works for you, even if it's all kits. You heard me say it. I do not like to tell people to buy a meal kit, but if that's all you can do to stick to a meal plan and stick to a budget is like, my friend offered me if I go and use their discount code on, I don't even know a lot of the meal kits, sorry, like on Hello Chef, if that's what it's called. And I got this meal kit, and so I can stick to that for the week. If that's going to help you to get it done, then do it. Just remember that now becomes your primary source of groceries, so don't keep bringing in groceries from the store if you're going to order a meal kit. Okay, the big thing here is don't try to become a pro at this overnight. I have been meal planning for a long time, and I still get in over my head because I try to plan too far out in advance. I also don't plan breakfast, lunch, dinner. I stick to dinners only. I could probably be better about that, but it's what works for me. It's what I'm comfortable doing. It's what I have the time and the mental capacity for. So that is where I spend my time. Okay, try a 3-2-1 dinner system. Okay, so 3, 4, 5, 6 days of the week we're planning for, right? 3, 2, 1. So what does that mean? 3 dinners. We're going to plan 3 dinners that we are going to cook from scratch. Okay, so we are going to cook chicken tetrazzini. We are going to cook lobster ravioli. We are going to cook chicken tacos. Okay, I'm just pulling recipes. You can see I'm just making this up as I go. Then we're going to have 2 leftover nights. We're going to have a leftover night for our chicken tacos. We're going to have a leftover night for our lobster mac and cheese. Then we're going to have a takeout night. Okay, we're going to have a night where we know we're going to have Taco Casa. We're going to have McDonald's. We're going to have Chili's, whatever it is that we're going to have. Now, there's 7 nights in a week. I've only given you 6 meals. What do we do on that extra night of the week? That is your flexibility night, okay? Some people like to just look around and see what they still have left in the house that they need to use. They will utilize it for leftovers again if they still have leftovers left. Some people like to go to the grocery store and see what they can find on clearance, and then they come home and cook from their clearance finds. It's up to you. That's your flexibility night. You've built it into your plan and you've accounted for it. So now let's use it. So 3, 2, 1. 3 meals, 2 leftovers, 1 takeaway, and then at the end you're just left with that flexibility day that you can do whatever it is you want to do with it. Okay, number 8, I don't know what I'm going to want to eat. Okay, maybe you're thinking like, I don't know what I want next week. Valid. I don't know what I want to eat next week either. So a lot of people mood-based eat. What do I mean by mood-based eating? Mood-based eating, I come home, I look around, and I'm like, I want chili. Okay, well, did I have everything laid down for chili? 9 times out of 10, no, I didn't. So then I'm like, I could just go to Jason's Deli and get some chili. I could do that. It's just going to cost me more. It's not going to be as good if I had made it myself. I come home, I'm like, man, I'm just really in the mood for a big, huge bowl of pasta. But I don't have any of the stuff I want for rigatoni. So I'll just go to Olive Garden, right? So we are mood-based eaters. We are not rigid dinner planners. That's kind of how I look at it. It is hard. It's hard to get used to being on a plan. So the thing here is to use real meal options. So use real meal options. Things that you know you're going to want to eat on that week-to-week basis. And again, I know it's hard. Okay, I know this is hard to look into the future and see how you're going to feel next week. And maybe that's where you need to come up with just a meal list of these are the meals that I have ingredients on hand that I can make. And then only pull out 1 meal each evening, or not meal, 1 meat each evening. And then the next day you can come in and you can see how you feel, and then you can determine what you want to make with that meat option. So maybe I laid down ground beef. Okay, on my meal plan, I had that I was going to make beef stroganoff with ground beef. I get home, I'm like, that's going to take a little while. I don't really want to do that. I'm not feeling it. What else can I do? Okay, I can make dirty rice with it. Or I can make hamburger helper with it. Or whatever the case is, right? Like if I want a faster option, that's what I'm in the mood for, then I will utilize the ingredient that way. So meal categories can be really helpful versus exact meal ideas if you're this type of person. And then this is a tip that I found while I was researching for this video, and I'd never heard this before, but I really like this. Create a cravings board and use it. So what are the things that you find that you crave over time, and start building your cravings into your calendar. Okay, so I know I'm going to crave pasta. Okay, that is my love language. I'm going to crave pasta. So I'm going to make sure that I have a pasta option available at all times. My husband is going to crave meat and potatoes. That is his go-to comfort food. So I'm going to make sure that I always have something in this house that I can quickly throw together for a meat and potato option. So look at what your individualized cravings are within your household. Create a cravings board and then make sure you have quick available options for those meals. Okay, number 9. I like this excuse, especially in 2025. Grocery prices keep changing, so I can't afford a meal plan. Because I'm saying, like, what I planned for this week, by the time I go buy the ingredients next week, prices have gone up, and so I can't afford to buy what I thought I was going to buy for the week. Okay? Inflation and fluctuating pricing are very frustrating. Okay? But it's still risky not to create a plan to work off of. Okay? You want to learn to plan around the local sales. So you are going to have to stop the mindset when you're shopping of I want, versus this is what I'm going to buy because it's on sale. Then I can use that how I want. Okay? So what do I mean by that? I want chicken. However, chicken's not on sale this week, but pork chops are. So I will buy and stock up on pork chops. I'm not going to buy chicken because chicken's not on sale. Okay, so what do? Well, if I have chicken in my freezer, great, I can still have chicken. If I only can buy pork chops, okay, how do I want to make those? That's going to be up to me. I'm going to Google pork chop recipes. I'm going to come up with what I want. Brown sugar honey pork chops. Okay, perfect. That's what I'm going to make with them. But I'm still getting what I want. It's the recipe I wanted with the pork chops, but it didn't get what I want because it didn't buy the chicken that was more expensive. Okay? So build up a flexible pantry because that helps you to adapt when things aren't on sale that you do want. So I am a prepper in that I stock up on the deals that are on sale. And what I mean by on sale is not everything in the ad. I'm talking loss leaders. I'm talking clearance. I'm talking buy one, get one free if it's a better deal than going to another store. That is what I'm talking about. Buy those items, stock up on the limit on them, keep them put away in your pantry shelves, keep them in your freezer when you find meat that's on clearance, and then you have that to work with later when it's not on sale. Okay, stick to a core of affordable ingredients. Okay, so if you always know in your area that beans are usually a great price, I can usually get rice at a great price, I can usually get russet potatoes at a good price, chicken leg quarters are usually a good deal. Stick to those as like your core base ingredients that you're going to work with, and then spread out from there. What can I add to it? What can I do differently with it in order to use those ingredients that I know are going to be cheaper? And then plan for using any over stocked items, right? So because you're shopping those sales, you may find that you start to accumulate a little more of something than you intended to. Make sure you're using those items up instead of just letting them go to waste. All right, number 10 is probably my favorite excuse out of all of these. I forgot to plan. You didn't forget, you just didn't want to do it. Let's just be honest here. But okay, let's stick to I forgot to plan. Now the panic is sitting in. I'm feeling overwhelmed. I don't know what to do. And so I'm just going to all let it burn, right? I'm going to let it be on fire. It's my own little dumpster fire in my kitchen. No, we are going to conquer that. Set a reminder for yourself. We all have these things called cell phones now. And guess what they all have built into them? Alarms, right? So we're going to set an alarm. We're going to remind ourselves on Sunday at 3 o'clock that, hey, before bedtime tonight, we need to have that meal plan done. We need to have everything ready to go. We are going to build and develop that healthy habit. We are not going to just skip it. We are going to make ourselves sit down. We are going to make ourselves do it. We are going to use some sort of visual cue to remind ourselves that we need a meal prep. What does that mean? When I finish the last meal of last week's meal plan, I am putting up an empty meal plan sheet on the fridge. Then I know, oh, I need the meal plan because I don't know what's coming up next. Some sort of visual cue to help me remember to do it. If you need to, save your past meal plans in your notebook, and that way, if you just find yourself stuck, maybe you've had a doctor's appointment, someone's been in the hospital, you had a baby, husband sick, whatever, you can just go back and pull one of the older meal plans out, and you can use that as this week's meal plan. It's fine to do that. So no plan equals no problem. Okay? What do I mean by that? A meal kit is never going to fail or let you down. Now, I'm not talking about the ones I was saying about earlier, like Hello Chef or anything like that. I'm talking about have some meal kits ready in your pantry, something like a hamburger helper, a box jambalaya mix, something that you can throw together quickly and easily if you forgot to plan. Have some quick, easy things, some frozen pizzas, have a frozen lasagna, whatever you find on sale that you can stock up that's going to give you a few little quick and easy, like, oh crap, I forgot to meal plan yesterday on Sunday. It is Monday night. What do? Do I let my entire week go downhill, or do I rescue Monday night and then I sit down and plan out for the rest of the week? I'm going to sit down. I'm going to plan out the rest of my week. Maybe I use Monday as my takeout day in my 3-2-1 plan. Maybe I just start my week with takeout if I have to. But I'm going to rescue that plan moving forward for the rest of the week. All right. So if you have heard your friends give you any tips that I didn't go over, or any excuses that I didn't go over, feel free to leave those in the comments, because I love to hear reasons why people can't meal plan in some sort of fashion, right? Everyone can do it, but leave me those excuses in the comments. And if there's any tips and tricks that I didn't give you that you think would be helpful for other people, feel free to leave those as well. And make sure you like the video, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and make sure you ring the notification bell. That way you know when new videos are headed your way here on YouTube. So I hope you found this video helpful, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.